Bonsoir amis de l'horreur et bienvenue dans cette nouvelle vidéo un petit peu spéciale puisqu'il s'agit d'une interview de Srdjan Spasojevic, le réalisateur de A Serbian Film que j'ai eu la chance de réaliser au Bifff cette année. Évidemment, elle a été tournée en anglais, je ne parle pas serbe et Srdjan ne parle pas français. Tout est sous-titré en français et évidemment, les gens profs d'anglais peuvent me critiquer sur mon accent ou sur ma façon de parler la langue de Shakespeare. Il n'y a pas de problème. Je vous embête pas plus longtemps, je vous laisse avec l'interview, c'est parti. So the first one, and really generic one, is what is the genesis of a Serbian film?
It's always the simplest and the toughest question. But long story short, it's a combination of influences, enjoying the movies, enjoying the creators and the work they made, with your deepest, honest emotions you have about the world you live in, and of course, combination with something you would like to make, something you would like to create, and a style of it. So all that together, in short, was something that was pushing a Serbian film to be made.
And how do you get the money for making a movie?
Again, that's an interesting question. I was the sole producer of it, so that's how I got it. It was absolutely tough. It was against all the rules, but I was a producer of it, so somehow with lots of help of some people, we made it.
Okay. Was it your goal from the start to make a shocking film?
Again, one of the common questions, but again, one of the, let's say, interesting stories or answers. Absolutely not. It was quite something different. As I said at the beginning, and it's not easy to explain in a short talk or in few words or a few shots, but the idea was to just express yourself, to make something that you think has some meaning, that you think will make some impact about your emotions you have for the world you live in. So, however you take it, interestingly or not, there was absolutely no ideas about let's make a shock for the shock's sake of it, or let's break some boundaries or rules. So that was really not at our point of view at the moment.
For you personally, are you a fan of extreme cinema, violent cinema, or things like that?
I can tell you about creators that were influencing me, and that and let's say movies or generation that was that I grew up with or grew up on. So. Movies from American creators from 70s, 60s, 50s, yes, 80s, always interesting, but 70s were something that I really grew up on and I was really a fan of. So I would more say that that influence I got from creators like Peckinpah, William Friedkin, Carpenter, but I mean, why not? But that's that line you're heading for. But Carpenter, Cronenberg, De Palma, even if it's not from this kind of a basket or a range, even Clint Eastwood and Walter Hill. So those were influences I got. But when you're a movie fan, movie goer, you watch everything. Yeah. Absolutely, Tom Cooper. I mean, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a cult movie, one of the greatest. But also lots of others, horror movies. But I was never I can't say like I was never a fan, but I was always more in Peckinpah than in horror movies. Okay. But then again, everything was there. Everything was influencing things you're seeing or doing or thinking about. So you're watching everything. So even some kind, when I want to make a joke, when someone asks like, did you like most horror directors start by watching Star Wars? Yeah, sure. For me, that's a kind of bizarre question. Then I want to make a joke and I say, no, I started with watching Chuck Norris movies because I don't see that relation that they're making, but okay, like why not? So it's strange how sometimes pieces are getting together.
The legendary baby scene. How did you come to this idea?
In a way, it was simple. We had a scene that we have to show what that main villain in the film is actually showing to the main character or threatening him with. But of course, that's just like the simple setup. But of course, it was like a giant metaphor about how we feel in the world today. You get born, and you're on the line from the start. So, in a way, it was both simple and tough. It was not easy to actually put it in the script, put it in the talks, put it on the shooting, but it was inevitable. It was inevitable, both with talking with a scriptwriter and brainstorming, and again with the film crew, with actors. It was always like, yes, that's the point we are going to.
Was the shooting difficult for you, the technicians, and the actors?
I think that shooting of any movie is difficult. Whatever the subject is in the content, shooting a movie is a difficult thing. I can only say that we were, let's say, lucky in a sense that the main actors from the film and the main crew were in the line with us about the idea. Mm-hmm. They understood what we wanted to say. They wanted to say the same thing. They wanted to express, and if you will, to scream the same thing. So in general, we had a whole film crew backing us up. So in that way, we were lucky, and as much as we could avoid some tough things, we did.
In my YouTube comments, I receive a lot of hard commentaries, insults sometimes for having made positive analysis of the movie from people who think that this kind of film should be banned or even you should be punished by the law. So why do you want to say to them if you know that type of critics?
Funny and tough. I don't know what to say to them. Don't watch the movie you don't like. Or we all had that kind of encountering that kinds of critiques. I don't have social networks. I was never in those things, so I only know of what is happening there. But it's really tough. It's really crazy, especially for someone who is, let's say, in there and who is taking and getting the abuse. It could be tough. I knew that we were making a film that is not for everyone, and there is no movie that is made for everyone. There is always different things. But we knew that we are delivering a punch. So in a way, the world will punch back. Yeah. So there were no surprises. But regarding the commentaries, that's really something different. That's something that is combination of many things: censorship, auto-censorship, political correctness, and all those influences that are actually giving a freedom for, let's say, a crazies among us to go and do those things, do the molestment on the internet. I have no means of fighting that. Even when when some kind of censorship boards are censoring the film and banning it, and people are asking well, what if, I don't know, like kids seeing it or something. Well, it's not my job to fight among crazies among us. You have police, you have medical things, so deal with them. I'm always saying that art should be free without boundaries, but of course not to breaking the laws and go mad. But it just all those talks and thoughts caused by bureaucratic means of dealing with the films are just upside down. It's even hard to talk about it.
How did the film industry look at you after the film release?
Again, I'm repeating myself, but any and every question about Serbian films, Serbian film comes to a funny, interesting, and both strange and sad. To get directly to your question and skipping again everything that happened to a Serbian film, both through film labs and auto censorship, and after that with distribution and showing it and releasing it, in a way, I have the same situation, the same destiny as the film itself. So even that film did open some doors for me, and I have lots of fantastic producers and partners that wanted to work with me. There is always some wall they hit, and it's always about him, or me, directing a Serbian film, so better not to go there. But that explains all the stories about the censorship that in a human mind and in today's world are going in circles. Sometimes we don't go forward, we go in circles, so the world is not longer a flat surface, it's a round thing, right? And we can fly to the moon, and we touristically will fly to the moon soon, but again we have troubles with abortion or things like that, and we have wars everywhere around. So that's the craziness of it. So there will always be that kind of disproportion. Films will be banned, talking about that circle. Films will be banned today, free in 30 years, again banned at the same time, and then again banned. So it's just bizarre and stupid.
Is the success of A Serbian Film was a blessing or a curse for you?
I would always call it a blessing. Lots of questions, of course, about would you change anything if you knew something, or what are you thinking about it now? One of the first thoughts about the whole situation after the film was out, after all the problems and during all the problems, when people were asking me about would I do it the same, what I think now, and things like that, one of my first reactions were that I was too soft. I think that humankind deserve a worse comment. This was too soft. So, being that I put all of my instincts and beings and gut in the film, I will never say that I would do it. I can't say that I would do it differently. I could only do it the same.
That's the most important, no?
Probably. I don't know. It's not on me to comment some things about the film. I mean, we talked a lot about it now, and I'm blabbing a lot, but there are some things about the films that creators shouldn't talk about. Some other people could give the note about it, and you don't have to like everything as a creator, but that's how it goes. That's the name of the game. So I think there is too much of a talk about movies, but talk about it from creators. in the last 2 decades, it's like more important about what I have to say about the film than about the showing the work itself.
For the last one, can you tell us a bit about your future projects or your actual projects, if you have?
In a certain reason and in a certain point, I was pretty much out of the industry for the last 6-7 years. So nothing in particular in happenings. Of course, there was always lots of scripts, lots of plannings. There are always scripts and ideas and plannings. But the most important thing at this moment is a documentary about a Serbian film that the guys who are a sales agency for a Serbian film and other films from US are preparing. So I'm participating in it as a provider of materials and documents and some interviews and talks that we had back from 2008. So we have hours and hours of footage from the set. So we did prepared ourselves for a making of, but at the end, after all the troubles and problems that Serbian film had, there was never a time, but really there was never a time for us to even look through material. So honestly, first time and first moment we opened the material and watched it from the set was 10 years after.
We were waiting for this project. I want to watch it. I'm really interested by this idea, so can't wait to see it. Maybe in the Bifff one day, who knows?
Maybe. But again, it's just a documentary about it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a Serbian film.
No.
It's a documentary about a Serbian film, about people and artists got together and made something. Yeah. So it's a point about that.
Thanks a lot for accepting this invitation and answer all my weird questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys.